Your relationship this week Ivan was certainly put to the test when Chris finally came down the stairs onto the beach. Now, Ivan was very convinced that you wouldn't go on a date with Chris. He was very confident in this, but he didn't necessarily talk to you about his feelings on the whole thing, which I think was probably a projection of maybe his insecurity. Why do you think Ivan didn't really discuss it with you? Did he not think it was a possibility for you? Was this kind of a miscommunication of some sort?
Perhaps. I think, let's be honest, there's so much that goes on in paradise. Emotions are high. It's very easy for miscommunication to happen. I do wish that Ivan would have talked to me beforehand. And we did kind of discuss a little bit about like, okay, yeah, how are we going to navigate every week? But it was really not something that we touched on too much because it is an uncomfortable conversation to have. So I don't know. I think that seeing how confident he was, it really like hurt me so much because I wanted to not block myself either from finding connections, because obviously if it completely flopped with Chris, obviously I would have been like, okay, great, like the best connection I have right now is with Ivan, but I just didn't want to rob myself of leaving that beach with regrets. So I did not want to not explore connections that could be potential.
Yeah, it's sort of this awkward catch-22 because obviously you want to keep yourself open in the weeks that you're there, but also you want to maintain strong connections that you already have. Knowing you're going to go on another date is probably going to weaken it. In the end, Chris did ask you on a date, and in the end, you agreed to go. Were you hesitant at all about going on this date with Chris, especially because of your connection with Ivan? I mean, did you think that he was kind of going to be lusting after you while you were away with Chris?
I definitely was apprehensive about saying yes to the date with Chris because, like what you were saying, obviously that could put a dent into my connection with Ivan. Now, it very much could have been the same situation like Serena P going on a date with Thomas, didn't work out. She went back to Joe and said, hey, not for me. I half-heartedly actually hoped that that would be the situation because I did really like Ivan, but I genuinely felt that things, I hit off pretty well with Chris, and I didn't want to, again, rob myself of exploring that more. And much less did I want to be stringing along Ivan because I have way more respect for him than that.
Yeah, and you and Chris had also an instant connection, at least from where I was sitting after the date, which included a steamy makeout, maybe two with some strawberries. You share that even though Ivan seems to kind of check all the boxes on your list, that Chris has that oomph factor, that spark that you don't necessarily have with Ivan. Can you break this down for me? Is that true? Do you not really feel the same spark with Ivan that you were feeling with Chris?
I think, if I'm honest, I think in thinking about it now, the whole situation, watching it play back, it was still so early on with Ivan. There was that instant connection. There was that understanding, that comfort. There was a spark, but it's like it was so early still in paradise, I feel. So I didn't want to close myself off from any other opportunities either. So to have that connection with Chris, it was kind of like, how do I navigate this now? Because the last thing I wanted to do was drag this love triangle on any further and just make this whole spectacle out of it. Like, I just wanted to be sure of my decision. And in the moment, I truly did feel like, I think I should be exploring more things with Chris.
Yeah, and ultimately you did tell Ivan that. I thought you were very, very honest about wanting to explore with Chris some more, but Ivan was not pleased and he sort of walked away during this conversation. What were you feeling in that moment? Were you disappointed in Ivan's reaction or did you expect that?
I didn't love that he walked away the way he did, but I could also understand it was really very emotionally driven. So I don't blame him for that either. If he felt really hurt and he just didn't want to be super vulnerable in front of me, I can understand. But I do wish that, perhaps he could have expressed a little more about how he was feeling. Because if I'm honest, I think had he told me that he wanted to make things exclusive, at least that would have made me think, you know what, maybe I should think about this a little more. So with him walking away like that, it did kind of make me feel rejected too. So
sure. Can fans expect you to make a final decision by tonight?
Fans can expect that for sure. I'm sure people are all curious as to who's staying, whether it's Ivan or not. I think there's a lot going on the beach that's going to unfold tonight too.